As the saying goes, let's not beat around the bush, so I'll just get right to it, at least on this issue. By all indications, Ravi Zacharias, the great Christian apologist who, in life, argued for essential truths in Christianity, also in death, may have proved one of the core truths of the Christian faith. That is, humanity is a fallen race. I don't wish to regurgitate the many shameful things discovered about Ravi Zacharias after his death, so if you want to learn more, I recommend that you peruse legitimate news sources, print or online, to learn more about the events surrounding this discussion. If you're curious or unfamiliar with the stories surrounding the scandal, one place you can start with, perhaps, is the Christianity Today website, shown here. I'm also providing relevant links from that publication in this video's description. In any case, if you do peruse the articles or already know some of the details, you can see that those revelations are not only surprising, if not shocking, they are also downright hurtful and saddening to every person who put any level of trust in him, including those among us who are fans of Ravi and his pleasant, winning brand of Christian apologetics. First of all, the biggest victims, if all of this is true, and it certainly seems that way based on the investigations, are the direct victims of Ravi's sexual indiscretions and abuse. I can only hope that these victims find peace and appropriate resolution in this lifetime. Secondly, I can only imagine how Ravi's immediate family might be feeling, and only wonder at their sense of betrayal. My sympathies go out to them too. Lastly, even if it is to a much lesser degree than the direct victims and Ravi's immediate family, it has been clear to me from reading online comments and watching YouTube videos and other commentary online that many Christians who did follow and admire Ravi's specific brand of Christian apologetics were also hurt. I suppose you could count me as one of those in the third category. Although I never followed the Ravi Zacharias ministry extensively, I did from time to time listen to his speeches and his powerful, cogent points that made me think deeper about the gospel and Bible. Yet, even for me, who is, by comparison to many out there and many of you, possibly, a relatively casual observer of Ravi's opinions, this news hurt. And I suspect this will continue to hurt and bother many of us for a long time. With all that said, a few things come to mind. First, let's be frank. One has to admit that the news does not look good for Ravi. Still, in the interest of fairness, and since Ravi isn't around to defend himself, it's worth remembering that Proverbs 18 verse 17 reminds us that the one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines him. This doesn't mean that Ravi didn't do the things he was accused of. It just means that all people, even posthumously, need to be treated fairly. Second, assuming that Ravi, even posthumously, is guilty of the allegations, I think we should all beware of falling into the spiritual trap of thinking that we are somehow better than him. If you happen to think that you are a better person than Ravi because of his sexual sins, maybe you should think again. Possibly, in the area of sexual sin specifically, you may be better than he was, but are you saying that you are better than him in all areas of spiritual life? Be wary of getting into a game of comparisons, because As Romans 3 verse 23 reminds us, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Even if, for the sake of argument, you are a better person than he was, let's just consider that for a second or two, however unlikely that scenario may be. What is your righteousness compared to God's? All humans, every single one, from the least to the greatest, have fallen short of the glory of God. Third, to quote an expression many of us use here in the United States, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Essentially, of course, this means that, like the bathwater, we can discard the dirty, useless stuff, but we should keep the valuable things, that is, the baby. To put it another way, as 1 Thessalonians 5:21 reminds us, test everything, keep what is good. Ravi did many good things in apologetics. So, in the heat and passion of the moment, it would be a mistake to discard and throw out everything he did, certainly in the area of Christian apologetics. Fourth, I know that I am not qualified to make a final judgment on Ravi's eternal destination. This is, in my view, in the domain of God alone. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 15 reminds us, if the work of anyone shall be consumed, he shall suffer loss, but he shall be saved, but so as through the fire. Even if all of Ravi's earthly work was destroyed because of his human failings, one cannot eliminate the possibility that Ravi genuinely had a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. If he did, I am inclined to think that he will still be saved, even if all his work in this earthly life was burned up. In other words, Ravi may have been justified by the blood of Jesus Christ, but like with most, if not all saved people, he was not completely sanctified by the time he left this earth. In life, as I suggested earlier, Ravi spent many thousands of hours convincing people of the essential truths of Christianity. In death, we learn that he was just another fallen human being like the rest of us. Yet, if you are a Christian minister who is deeply aware of your own human failings, don't be discouraged. Remember that God chooses sinners, and that sinners are the people that God chose to spread the gospel and write the Bible, from King David to Peter and Paul. Yet, while God does justify the sinners through the blood of his Son, Jesus Christ, he does not condone the sin itself that his Son so painfully died for. Whether you are a Christian religious leader or a layperson, you have an obligation, if you consider yourself saved by the blood of Jesus Christ, to continue to accept and actively participate in God's work of sanctification in your life. Be ye therefore perfect doesn't mean that we are or will ever be perfect in this life, but it is a very clear guideline, injunction, or prescription on our final destination in terms of our spiritual walk, even if we never get there while here on earth.